Guys, my big green buddy over here and I would like to thank you for showing up to this class of the Comic Book University. We've broken this particular subject down into 9 different parts, and here's one of them right now. Eventually, they brought back the Hulk, the Green Hulk, and it turned into a great not crossover event, because Doc Samson was always a Hulk character. What did he start in issue number 141, I think it was, with Incredible Hulk? Anyway, Doc Samson was always a mainstay Hulk rival, whatever. He was his psychiatrist, essentially. And boy, did Banner and Hulk need a psychiatrist. Also a hero. His hair was green, just his hair, but he had Hulk-like strength. So he's having sessions and whatnot with Doc Samson, and he comes to realize, and this to me, like, this is just such great storytelling, right? That Bruce Banner, when he was a kid, was vilely oppressed. He watched his father beat and I think kill his mother, right? Banner's mother. All sorts of terrible atrocities, and he called him a monster and things like that because of things that he was doing before, and the kid shouldn't have possibly survived, but somehow he did. It was touched on pretty darn good, believe it or not, in the Ang Lee Hulk movie. Yeah, I know, I can't believe I just said that also, but I did. It was touched on pretty well in the movie, this line. And Banner had, of course, the Gray Hulk coming out, and he also had the green. So the Gray Hulk was always coming out anyway, because Gray Hulk comes out at night, right? But the Green Hulk started coming out once in a while also, whenever he was angry. So trying to control those two. So here's these two different Hulks coming out of the same person all the time, and it was a lot for Banner to have to deal with. So trying to resolve all these things in him, how he was repressed, and he had to learn how to be emotionless, almost like a Banner Vulcan, right? And the gamma radiation that he suffered, I never even went to the origin of the Hulk, did I? The gamma radiation that he suffered from the gamma bomb that he was making, and jackass Rick Jones wanders onto a military base and sits down in his car right at ground zero. I don't remember if he was playing his harmonica or playing with his guitar, but he might as well have been playing with himself. Moron. Banner himself, instead of calling security, runs out there and throws him down into a trench and then gets bombarded with the gamma radiation. And that's how he becomes the Hulk. Well, all that actually wound up doing was bringing out the psyche, right? The id, the ego, and the superego, thank you, Freud, that he's been repressing all these memories and thoughts and emotions especially. So Banner was what he was supposed to be, right? What he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be very intelligent. He was one of the smartest 8 people in the Marvel Universe. And he really was. And nobody really explored that the way that they should have. You know? It was like, oh, he's a specialist in gamma radiation. He doesn't really know anything else, though. No. Banner's unbelievably smart. And you get to see that much later on when the Hulk is actually taken from him. And you get to see the inventions that Banner does and the things that he does. Some bully, like, smacks his kid or his wife, I forget what it was, and Banner sees this on a train, and he tells the guy, stop. And the guy, like, shoves Banner or punches him or whatever. And Banner's just laughing from the floor. And he says, you know, normally you wouldn't be very happy with what happened after you just hit me. But instead, I'm going to make you even more scared. And he hands him back his phone. He's like, what you pickpocketed my phone? He's like, yeah. And while I was down there, I reprogrammed it. I did whatever, and I found out your name, your address, and this, that, and the other thing. And I will absolutely ruin your life. I will bankrupt you. I will virus you. I will, report you. I will do all these crazy things to you if I ever find out that you hit your kid, wife. I don't remember exactly who it was. Again, and the guy's just like, oh my God, you're a freak, and leaves. And Banner's like, it's funny how that always seems to happen. And it's also funny that all of the Avengers were standing there waiting for Banner when he came out of the subway too, because they knew that he had some kind of device on him. If he gets angry, then, and anyway. So, yeah, Banner actually is ridiculously intelligent, frighteningly so. Um, and he's exactly what he was supposed to be, what he had to be to survive his father, right? But his father didn't think that he was supposed to be. He says, he's smart like that because, the experiments that I did and this, that, and the other thing, he should be dead. But instead he turned into some kind of a mutant kind of thing, right? We'll go into mutant menaces when I start talking about the X-Men one day. So he's always calling him a monster and things like that, and that's why the Hulk would come out, and there'd just be the angry, I just want to get back at you for what you did to my mom and to me and things like that. The mean, savage gray Hulk, right? It's Banner smash. And then there's the sneaky, cunning Hulk, which is the gray Hulk, that is a part of Banner's personality. All of these things were just different manifestations of Banner that had an actual physical outlet because of the gamma bombardment. So Doc Samson talking to him or whatnot, eventually it turned Banner into Professor Hulk, where he could always stay the Hulk, and he wore glasses, right? Actually looked pretty cool, but he had Banner's mind, but the Gray Hulk's cunningness, right? But the Green Hulk's unadulterated strength, And yeah, good stuff. It was really good stuff. Not as good as the Gray Hulk series, in my opinion, though. But I know people who just, Professor Hulk was the best Hulk for them. And I could see why. I could absolutely see why. The Future Imperfect storylines came out of there. Issue 1 and 2 of Future Imperfect. Where the Hulk goes to a dystopian future, it's always dystopian, right? And he comes across a future version of him called the Maestro, right? Loses his hair, and he's even stronger because the world went to nuclear war, and the Hulk was slowly but surely gaining all that radiation inside of him, becoming more Hulk-ish, right? And he beat up and killed most of the other superheroes, had their trophies and things like that, which would eventually happen in the Old Man Logan storyline too, right? That Red Skull had actually gathered all those things. Anyway, so yeah, good storyline out of there. The unofficial part 2 to that was actually a story by Peter David, I believe, wrote the story. I have the novel, I just don't feel like digging it up. I actually had it on original hardcover, lost it, rebought it on paperback. Just an absolutely incredible story where the Maestro starts summoning different Hulks from different worlds, different Earths, right? Different dimensions, basically, from the multiverse, and brings together to form an army and all these different things. And the Hulk's actually doing this thing where the madder he gets, the more like Banner that he gets. So he's the Hulk, and if he gets himself too mad, he'll actually revert back to Banner, but it'll be a mindless Hulk mind in a puny Banner body. And that's the imagery in that is funny. They did that in the comics also for a while, and it's just horrifyingly hysterical. But Yeah, there have always been some cool stories along those lines. Uh, Eventually he went mindless again because people always wanted to go back to mindless. And the whole comics just started bleh, falling apart because even though everybody says that's the thing when you listen to fans. Fans think they know what they want. What they actually want is innovation. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we don't always know exactly what we want. We complain about what we get, you know? It is what it is. It's just the way that things are. But eventually, Greg Pak comes along. Guys, thanks for stopping by. This is Professor Bill, the absolute best teacher you'll ever have, at the Comic Book University, the definitively greatest school you're ever going to attend. And you too can attend the Comic Book University simply by hitting subscribe below. Take part in the conversations by discussing below, and send a like my way. I appreciate it. Talk to you later. Class dismissed.